Yeah. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
It's nice to see you here. How far you are enjoying the conference, the Network State Conference?
I must say I really love the difference in the people who are here. I have some very good conversations. On the other side, some presentations I have the feeling it's a kind of remembering me of the old days when we building communities and things like that. They use new techniques, but it's the same kind of story. Uh, and I like the enthusiasm, but I wonder really what is coming out of it. But for the rest, the whole purpose of this is networking for me, and that works. I found some very nice people. Yeah, very interesting.
Awesome. Steve, could you share a bit about your perception of Network State? Because you're coming from a more experienced background, and how do you see this Network State evolving into something that we can see in the real world and not just in academia or in publications, but just people can feel it in their daily lives.
Okay, let me first say that I really believe in self sovereignty. So people should be in control of their own capital. And not only financial, but also their human capital, what they know, and their social capital, the people they know, the relations they have. And currently, models like socialism and capitalism lead to a kind of structure which, in fact, limits your possibility of self sovereignty. What I'm really hoping and trying to help to build, uh, including the models behind it, is how could you again start giving back this self sovereignty to people? Now, there must happen something, some economics model, for example, because most of the governments use economics to regulate. So we have to find some different ways in there. I strongly believe that what you see happening and everywhere, because I've got a company in the Netherlands and one in Cambodia, that people really are seeing what's going wrong with their government and start going back again to another kind of working together, another kind of establishing your goal together. Cooperation is coming up again, which is great because that's trust, cooperation, self sovereignty are for me the basic principles for every human being on earth, which you should at least have, right? Now, what is difficult uh, for them is how to establish it in their normal life. I discussed with some people, some ladies from the Philippines. It makes a huge difference living on one of the islands, earning, let's say, $100 a month, compared to somebody living in California, $5,000 a month, having his nice Prius in front of the office, blah, blah. Of course, the last one has much more opportunities to be free because the other one, he has to work for 12 hours a day to earn his $100. On the other hand, when I go there and I talk to these people, the first thing they do is they offer me food. They accept me in their community. They don't look at how much I earn. The funny thing is, they call me immediately professor and could you help me with this and could you help me? And that's the construction which you need to make networks. Now, the other important thing is that socialism and capitalism are based to, let's say, countries, governance. Uh, People talked uh, in the interview, in the question and answer, about cities. Yes, we had city states, and then we got bigger states. That's because economy enforces us to make bigger factories, bigger money flow, blah blah, which means bigger measures to regulate. Now, how do you get rid of that? The fact is that if you talk in networks, networks are global. I can connect with you at no cost at any moment now, over the whole world.
Mhm.
We can work together, we can exchange knowledge. That means that this whole structure of locality doesn't work anymore in economy. We have to go to an economy which encompasses this whole new idea of I could be everywhere. Today I work here, tomorrow I work there. You said yourself, you were a teacher in South America, and now you're here running a network organization. Is it different? No. You work, you are yourself, you learn, but it's a different kind of economy. We have to accept that. And that will bring a huge transition because governments will not like it. It's so easy to calculate your GDP and all the other. We don't need it anymore. But what else are we going to have? That's my vision. And that's what I would like to help. That's why I have this company in Cambodia and had the company in the Philippines. Asia, like he is saying correctly, not only China, but Asia is rising like hell. Nobody was expecting Vietnam to have an electric car, right? Do you know? They have an electric car as well. Nobody expected that. Vietnam does it. Cambodia has a blockchain for the banks. Nobody expected. We don't have it in Europe. National banks with a blockchain.
Yeah.
It's happening there.
That's very interesting, actually. When you mention about your work in Asia, so how do you think, Steve, that when you mention about that Asia Rising and your work there, how you think this community building and this community sense that the Asians have, their the timing, I want to understand your time because you work there. How do you see the timing of evolving it into something like a big network state like platform in Asia or even beyond it? But people working there, as you mentioned, and I do agree with, is that I mean they are way better in community building and community structure than in many parts of the world. So how do you see this? How it will help with this network state platform to evolve there, and the timing? It's very interesting, I mean, because many people ask about the timing when, in the end of the day, we will see this network state happening. So what's your opinion? I mean, and
Okay.
please share a bit more about the work you're doing so that we can understand better.
Okay, two things, timing and how can you help to get it faster or at least get it in a good shape. I started teaching in China in 2001. At that time it was bikes, hardly any laptop, and a very old-fashioned university system. If you now look at China, you will see fast, high-speed trains going everywhere, electric cars, lots of technology, and an increasing standard of living all over China. Looking at Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, India, Malaysia, Bangladesh, they had a drawback because they were coming out of the old colonialism of the Westerns, which means that they had a history of not being on the forefront, not being the one who is making the innovation. That's changing rapidly. The new generation born there in Cambodia has nothing to do with France anymore. The Indian people, the younger ones, look at England as some old country in Europe. So in about 10 years, because those young people are now 20, In about 10 years, they will run the companies. They will be 30, 35, and they will demand a different economic structure. They will not use the old European American capitalist environment anymore because they say we cannot apply that in our society. So my timing is about 10 years, 10 to 15 years. Secondly, how could things like this help there? There are a few things which they really demand. One is knowledge. The good thing about this platform is that when people do experiments, they should exchange the information. They should show what's going on. It's nice to make a pop-up city in Thailand, but it's much nicer to go to the poor rice fields of Thailand and get those people on a higher level. Because we need them. The funny thing is, Europe and America, Japan is graying. We're getting old. We have no kids. Not enough kids. The kids are here. The kids will not accept our old-fashioned gray attitude. They want to have something, they want to have our knowledge, and they want to apply that knowledge in the new environment using the new techniques to help their own lifetime getting better. They want to grow, which is happening now in Cambodia. Yes, in the poor areas, they still earn something like $100, but already in Cambodia, they are at half of the level of Europe. So it's coming. They will come at the same level, and then suddenly you will find out they are much more advanced than whatever we thought. So be aware. I mean, even at your age, you will notice that they will run, and you will just sit there and say, "What's happening?"
Yeah.
So I'm really convinced that Indonesia, 150 million people, right? If you take Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Malaysia, Thailand together, it's another 100 million. Europe is only 450 million and decreasing. So it will happen. Second area, not only Asia, but also Africa will come. So you need things like network society structures to combine the different developments which are now taking place, to exchange what the experiences. Unlucky enough, I don't find enough people like me flying around all the time and visiting them and looking what's going on. There should be more. But I just had this discussion with the Chinese guy from the American university. He said, "You're completely correct. Academics is silos. We are blocking ourselves. We are only researching in the United States on a certain topic, and we do another topic in the Netherlands. But we don't go to Cambodia to teach them, and we should." So I would hope that there would be more platforms like this, not so much, to be frank, to create new states or create a new type of governance, but to give people their self-sovereignty, and then they will create their governance, for sure. They will not accept corruption anymore. They will not accept a military junta sitting there just because they want to earn the money.
Yeah, very interesting. I remember one historical thing about I mean, when we are talking about this bringing like capitalism or socialism into someone else's field, but these people are not used to it and they want to have their own, but they don't have the capacity still to have their own. I remember when Japan was bombed with nuclear arms, and the Japanese and the American military establishment went there, the Japanese elite said something super interesting to the American military elite present there, that thank you, I mean, for bringing in the military establishments rule and orders, because the military establishment was basically demanding to change the way the society lives in Japan, and like changing the rules and even the laws.
Correct.
And the Japanese elite said something very interesting. Thank you. We are going to fit our society into your, I mean, document.
Yeah.
This is very interesting. Like what you're mentioning about all this. I mean, like you should go and see the real people, how they live, how their real culture is, and this is and for that we must have platforms to exercise. And for that, my question should be, how you see these platforms. I mean, should they be academic? Should they be non-academic, or should they be mixed? Because at least we need ideology behind. So not ideology like communism or capitalism, but at least we need people who think and who write about these things, and those who can work on these things. How do you see the platform? I mean, should they be like think tanks? Should they be like, I mean, this type of online communities who gather and go to conferences, or to Africa, Asia, Latin America to meet people? How do you see the platform?
Okay. I have, again, and let's go back to history. How did the Chinese distributed their knowledge? They had the wise people, right? In Taoism, you have the wise people, and you can always go to the wise people and you get their knowledge. Which meant in their structure that a wise old person should be respected, but he will always give you his knowledge back. He doesn't ask for money. It's his pride to tell you what he knows. Go back to Africa. When you look at the tribes in Africa, they have the wise people there. When you go to the Indians in the United States, they have the wise people there. When we go back to the Greek, we had Aristotle and all that. The academia were just buildings. He was sitting there and the students would come and they would have discussions. There was no regulation. There was no structure that when you are 18 years old, you have to study this to get your master degree in human rights. No, it was the teacher was going to talk to you, work with you, and when you're stupid enough, he will tell you, go away because you're stupid. And when you're intelligent, he says, could you please stay because you're so interesting. By the way, I had one of those students. He came to me and asked, should I do a PhD? He was 24. I asked him, why are you asking me? He says, my mother wants that I get a PhD. So I looked at him and said, two things. You are 24, you should be old enough to decide for yourself. And secondly, don't do it. You're so stupid to ask me, never come back. That's what I mean. That's how you should use academia, right? You should not try to organize it. Because as soon as you start organizing it, you get the same mistake as a lot of people do. Oh, now I'm important. Before my name, it says professor. Come on. I mean, I didn't get my brains out of myself. My parents helped me. My parents paid my study. My parents helped me to grow like this. Even a lot of friends of me helped me. It's an honor. It's something I have to give back. So what we need are indeed platforms that it gets easier for people to address you, to ask you questions. So it's much more research type like than teaching like. It's much more that when I'm a fisherman And I want to change my type of fishing because certain fishes I cannot catch anymore. There should be people who can explain to me what other possibilities there are and maybe even help me. That's how you need knowledge. So, to be able to do that, you have to give the means to the people, right? But that means also, on one side, you need a platform for this communication with each other. Two, you need a platform for trade, because everybody's always trading. When you're a fisherman, you have to sell. Thirdly, you need something to describe you. I have to know who you are. I have to know your portfolio. What kind of knowledge do you have? What kind of background do you have? Now we have all systems which are centralized. I'm building in Cambodia, working together with real Cambodian people, also the central bank in Cambodia, to start working on a platform where your profile is your capital. That's my statement. It's your capital, idiot. It's not the government's capital. It's not the company's capital. It's your capital. You should take care of it. You should have it with you. Keep it with your heart. Protect it. And we should then offer you possibilities to improve.
Mhm.
So we are building in Cambodia an app which is really based on that profile. And a bank can offer you a loan. They will not do the credit rating. Your telephone will do the credit rating. Your telephone will tell you, this could be interesting for you because it fits in the total picture. So then you could say, well, not today, maybe tomorrow. Or you could say, yes, it's interesting. I contact the bank. Let's discuss the loan.
Mhm.
No more central regulation. Yes, of course, for laundering money and things like that. But you are in control for the decision of your loan. You don't have to give your passports. You don't have to give your salary slip. It's all in your phone. It's already there. So we are building KYC, know your customer, which is necessary for the banks. Based on your portfolio, we built this whole scoring together with the payment structure we now have in the Netherlands, based on the connection between normal fiat money and digital money. So then we can trade, we can pay based, but we can also exchange knowledge. Because knowledge exchange is just the same as selling my fish. I have knowledge, I can sell it to you. I can decide I give it for free. Just like in my previous example, you come to me, we like each other, you get my fish. You don't have to pay. I can do the same. That's the platform. Yeah. That will not be there immediately because you can imagine Cambodia, we still have a lot to do in Asia. But again, my timeline is about 10 years, and I expect that these type of platforms will come up based on personal identity, personal portfolio, coupled to control mechanism to control your own capital, being self-sovereign.
Awesome, perfect. Steve, the last question. What is your message to the young people who want to build network states, new countries, intentional communities, private cities, pop-up villages? What is your message to them?
Message number one is read your books. Learn from history. Second, keep your enthusiasm. Know that failure will always be there, but failure is necessary to learn. So don't mind failure, start again, try again. Third is do it together. Don't do it for earning money. Forget about these investment companies. I mean, investment companies only invest money in you because they want to have more money. I hate that principle. Sorry to say so. I mean, that should not be the reason to work together and make something new. You should set a goal for yourself together with your friends and then reach that goal. Whenever you have money or not, maybe you have to clean tables in the night just to get the money. Do it, please. Because then you learn. Then you learn to fight for a goal. Don't go to an investor and say, please give me 2 million because I have this crazy, beautiful idea and you will earn a lot out of it. Wrong starting point. Don't do it. So history, believe in yourself, continue, and do it out of yourself with your own capital.
Thanks a lot, Steve. Very, very inspiring. Thanks a lot. And I hope that a lot of young people will definitely follow your advice. Thank you.
Thank you very much.